Hello everyone, my name is Ms. Ghazala Ansari and my topic for today is methods of teaching science and mathematics. Science and mathematics are the two most vital disciplines in education. They form the foundation for logical reasoning. In education, they form the foundation for logical reasoning and analytical thinking and problem solving. But how we teach these subjects is just as important as what we teach. So, effective teaching methods help help transform abstract concepts into meaningful learning experiences. They encourage curiosity, develop scientific temper, and prepare learners to apply their knowledge in real life situations. So, today we'll be talking about methods of teaching mathematics and science by using two different methods. The very first one is the lecture-cum-demonstration method and the laboratory method. How these purposes will fulfill the expectations of the teachers and the learner towards the learning process. So when we talk about the theory of adopting different methods of teaching, the theories bridge a gap between um, how the understanding process is going to be. So teaching science and mathematics effectively requires strategies that bridge theory and practice. When students only listen to theory, learning often remains abstract. But when they see experience and apply what they learn, it becomes real and lasting. That's why modern pedagogy emphasizes methods that are interactive, visual, and so the main aim is to develop students who can think critically, reason logically, and use knowledge creatively and solve problems. So, what are the different aims of teaching mathematics and science? The very first one is to develop critical thinking and problem solving skills. Students learn to analyze information, evaluate evidences, and design solutions from complex problems. The second one is foster conceptual understanding, wherein rather than memorizing formulas or facts, students grasp the meaning and interconnections of concepts. The third one is to encourage scientific inquiry and experimentation, where the learners learn to ask questions, observe, hypothesize, experiment, and draw conclusions. The last one is to promote real life and real world applications, wherein knowledge is linked to daily life experiences, helping the students to see the practical use of what they learn. So these aims ensure that the learning becomes active, meaningful, and lifelong. What are the guiding principles? So the very first one is to foster logical reasoning, wherein students should learn to think step by step, reason through evidence, justify their conclusions. Second is to promote conceptual mastery, where then the focus should be only on understanding and not rote memorization. The third one is to cultivate problem solving skills, wherein the learning should be enabling the students to apply knowledge to real and unfamiliar situations. These principles make education not just about content, but about developing the mind. What are the different objectives when it comes to teaching mathematics and science? The very first one is to develop critical thinking and problem solving abilities. The next is fostering deep conceptual understanding of principle and laws. Basically, the aims more or less are going to give you proper objectives. So the third one is cultivating scientific inquiry and mathematical reasoning. The fourth one is promoting practical application and connecting theory to real life, building confidence, curiosity, and positive attitudes towards learning. Together, these objectives uh, help students become independent thinkers and lifelong learners. Next, we come on to what are different methods of, teaching science and mathematics. So the very first one is the problem-solving method, wherein students are given real-life or theoretical problems to solve. This develops their logical reasoning, creativity, and perseverance. The next one is the project method, wherein the learners work on extended projects, researching, designing, and experimenting, and presenting results. It integrates knowledge from different subjects and encourages teamwork. The next comes the heuristic method, which is derived from the Greek word heuriskin, meaning to find out. This method encourages students to discover facts on their own through reasoning and experimentation. The next comes the discussion method. The teachers and students exchange ideas, clarify doubts, and develop communication and critical thinking. Laboratory thinking, wherein students engage in hands-on experiments, collect data, analyze observations, and draw conclusions. This develops their scientific inquiry and a direct understanding of natural phenomena. The next is the inductive deductive method, wherein this dual approach trains students to derive general principles from specific observations and apply general rules to specific cases, foundation for critical thinking and problem solving in both disciplines. We come on to uh, discussing lecture cum method in detail. So the lecture-cum method is a teacher-centered yet highly interactive approach. Here, the teacher first explains a concept through a lecture and then demonstrates it using the experiments, models, or visual aids. For example, while explaining the Archimedes principle, the teacher might show a simple experiment by immersing an object into water to demonstrate displacement. So, according to W.A. Anderson in 1946, um, the demonstration method is a planned performance by the teacher to illustrate a principle or process while students observe and understanding through explanation. Similarly, in Good's Dictionary of Education, 1959, it is defined as the method where the teacher shows, explains, and illustrates phenomena while students observe carefully and participate mentally. This method combines telling and showing, making learning dynamic and engaging. We discuss upon the objectives of the lecture-cum demonstration method, which is it enhances conceptual understanding. It makes different abstract ideas, which are not so concrete. So abstract ideas can be made concrete. Cultivate creative critical observation. Students learn to understand and notice details and interpret phenomena logically. They connect theories to practice, relate classroom learning to real life applications. This also ignites their curiosity. They start asking different questions. So it stimulates questions and inquiry. So it bridges the gap between knowing and seeing, which is crucial in both science and mathematics. Next, we come on to what are the different steps of when we start talking about lecture cum demonstration methods. So, the very first involves planning and preparation, where the teacher has to choose appropriate demonstration, gather materials, and anticipate questions. The next one is introduction and motivation, which begins with curiosity. It relates the topic to the daily life or prior knowledge. Then comes the actual theory behind the concept. So the teacher explains the theory while showing the demonstration simultaneously. Then comes the observation discussion thing, wherein students record the observations, ask questions, and discuss their results. And last, which is conclusion and evaluation, they summarize their findings and assess their understanding through short questions or reflection. So this step-by-step structure ensures both clarity and engagement. What are the different challenges and shortcomings that come into lecture come demonstration method? So advantages would be making it makes learning visual and engaging. It also explains complex ideas easily. It is safe and cost effective for large classes, and it links theory to real world phenomena. Whereas if we talk about the shortcomings or challenges, students may remain passive observers because they are just seeing whatever is happening. They do not have any they do not have, or they just have limited hands-on experience, whereas it is highly dependent on the teacher's preparation and skills. It also requires working equipment and good visibility for all students. So despite these limitations, it still remains as a powerful method when it is used creatively. Now we discuss upon what is the laboratory method, as to how does it work, what are the different steps, and what are the different advantages and disadvantages. So when we talk about the laboratory method can be defined by various thinkers like Garrett in 1985 as a method of teaching that provides first-hand experience by allowing students to handle apparatuses and materials to observe natural phenomena. Similarly, Simpson and Troost in 1982 said that laboratory method is a planned activity where students engage in experimentation and use the scientific methods to solve problems. These approaches helps the student learn by doing, turning theory into real understanding. We discuss upon the objectives and characteristics of the laboratory method. The main objectives of the laboratory method would be help student acquire scientific knowledge through first-hand experiences. It develops scientific skills like observation, measurement, and analysis. It encourages inquiry and dependent discovery. It verifies theoretical principles through experimentation, and it fosters teamwork and collaboration. What are the different key characteristics of the laboratory method? So the key characteristics would be preparation and planning, problem and identification, hypothesis formation, experimentation, observation and data recording, analysis and interpretation, conclusion and evaluation. Uh, Next, we come on to steps involved in the laboratory method. Next, we discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of the laboratory method, which is advantages would be it deepens understanding through hands-on experiences, promotes scientific inquiry and critical thinking. It builds teamwork and responsibility. It makes learning memorable and enjoyable, whereas challenges would be it is time and resource intensive. It demands for considerable preparation, execution, and cleanup time along with the dedicated resources. It needs a teacher expertise and safety management. It is difficult with large classes or limited facilities. Even so, it is considered one of the most powerful ways to teach science and mathematics effectively. Wherein if we come on to doing a comparative study over lecture-cum demonstration and the laboratory method, we find out that the lecture-cum demonstration method makes the students observers, while laboratory method makes them active participants. So the first is better for explaining and introducing the concepts. The second is ideal for exploration and verification. Both complement each other beautifully when we use them together. Last on, what is the conclusion as to both the lecture cum demonstration and the laboratory method play essential roles in science and mathematics teaching. The lecture cum method, the lecture cum demonstration method builds understanding and curiosity, while the laboratory method builds skills and inquiry and confidence. When the teacher integrates both the approaches thoughtfully, learning becomes dynamic, comprehensive, and inspiring, nurturing students who can think scientifically, reason mathematically, and act creatively. So that was all about my study on different methods of teaching mathematics and science. Thank you so much.